SEARS.TV. There you go. Question on length. I could do one that's relatively like as long as the longest ones I've done, or I could do a nice long one all about communication. That's a cool long one. Does anybody have any preferences or calls if they want to have something longer or not? Billy! I have a long piece, but I had a longer piece that was about communication. It's a cool piece, the longer one to do. I brought it along. I just was we've got the time, so I'm going to do a piece. I've got all the time in the world. This piece is expanded from one that was started in '97, and this is called Communication. Now that we have the information superhighway, we can throw out into the open our screams, our cries for help so much faster than we could before. Our pleas become computer blips, tiny bits of energy traveling through razor-thin wires, traveling through space, to be left for someone to decipher when they find the time. I got into work the other day, and I got my messages on a voicemail, and Mike called me, and he left me his pager number, and he told me to contact him with some information. And a different Mike called me and told him to call him at the office between 10:30 and noon. Lori told me to check my email, because she sent me a message that I really needed to look at. So I first returned Mike's phone call, and he wasn't in, so I left a voicemail message with the coworker, and then I dialed the number for the other Mike who was there, and I heard a beep, and I dialed my own phone number, and then I got in line, checked my email, and I read a note from Ben, emptied out my junk mail, realizing after hours I didn't actually get a hold of anyone. I had tried to call my friend, Sherry, but I got her answering machine. So I said, "Hi, this is Janet. Haven't talked to you in a while." At which point I realized that there was nothing left for me to say. "So, give me a call. We should really get together and talk." Sarah and I were late for Carol's wedding rehearsal, which was a bad thing because we were both standing up in the wedding, so we were stuck in traffic, and I asked, "Sarah, do you have a cell phone number you have a cell phone, don't you?" And she said, "Yes." And I asked, "Well, do you know Carol's cell phone number? Because then we could at least call her and tell her that we were late." And she said, "No. Do you have it?" And I said, "No." I was at a bar with Dave, and I was explaining to him why I had not talked to my friend Aaron in a while. You see, we usually email each other, and when we do, we ever hit reply, and when we get an email from someone else, we hit reply. So instead of having to start a new letter, then we use their email address and everything, we'll just hit reply and send a reply to whatever question that they ask. Well, after a while, I got an email from them that had no question at the end of it, so I never had to reply. And we before just kept replying to each other, but after a while, I had no reason to send them a response because he didn't ask any question. So I never wrote back, and we never wrote back, and we just lost touch. And then it occurred to me how difficult it had become to type an extra line of text, because that's why I lost touch with him. And then it occurred to me, no matter how many different forms of communication we have, we still will find a way to lose touch with one another. Because now that we have the information superhighway, we can throw out in the open our screams, our cries for help so much faster than we could before. But what if we don't want to communicate or forget how? Too busy leaving messages, voicemails, emails, pager numbers, forgetting to call back. What if we forget how to communicate? I wanted to purchase tickets for a concert, but I was shopping with my sister and wasn't near a ticket outlet. Well, my sister said, "Hey, I've got a portable phone. You can call them if you'd like." So So she gave me the phone, and I looked at all these extra buttons, and she said, just press the power button, and then hold it down for at least 4 seconds until the panel lights up, and then dial the number, but use the area code, because this is a 630 area code, and then press send. And when you're done with the call, just press end, and make sure the light turns off. So I turned it on. I dialed the number. I pressed send, pressed my head against the tiny phone, and the line was busy, and I couldn't get through. I checked my email address book recently, and the people I talk to the most are the people who live in the same city as me, all of whom I know the phone numbers of, all of whom are only a local call away. In fact, one of my friends lives a block and a half away from me, on the same street as me, but I still email her as much as I call her, even though I could just walk over to her house and have an actual conversation with her. Because now that we have the information superhighway, we can throw out into the open our screams, our cries for help so much faster than we could before. People want an instant message. They buy their names as domain names. People get email accounts. People set up web pages. But you know, I've got a cell phone. I've got a landline. And my phone isn't ringing off the hook. It's like I've gone fishing, sat on the boat in the lake, put out the bait, and no one's biting. I wanted to get in touch with an old friend of mine from high school, Vince, and the last I heard, he had gone to Marquette University. Oh, geez, that was like 5 years ago. He could be anywhere. So I called a friend or two, and I talked to them, and I asked them if they knew where he was, but they lost touch with him too. So I searched on the internet to see if his name was on a website or if he had an email address. He didn't. So I figured I probably wouldn't find him. And all this time, I knew that his parents lived in the same house that they always did. I could just look up his parents' number in the phone book and just call them and say, hi, I'm an old friend of his from high school, you know, but I never called. And I realized why. Because you see, I had searched the internet for hours and no one would know that I was looking for someone. But now, with one single phone call, I made it known to his entire family that I wanted to see him enough to call after all these years. And I didn't want that. So, I never called. Now that we have the information superhighway, we can throw out into the open our screams, our cries for help so much faster than we could before. But the question begs itself, who is there to listen?